Hi, I'm Professor Brandler, and I want to talk to you about two young autistic students that I had at two separate campuses. So the first one is at Mount San Antonio College, and I'm going to call him Marcus. And then the second one is like about 2 hours drive on the other direction at Pierce College in Los Angeles Pierce College in Woodland Hills, and I'm going to call him Sal. So Marcus came to me, and it was English 1A freshman composition. And it's so cute. On the first day he came, he was dressed it was a dark blue or black suit with including a vest, and then he had a baseball cap on. It was really cute. And his father introduced me to him, and so he came to my class. And he was quite verbal, but when he would talk, he kind of looked down a little bit. And he said, that he was autistic, and I think he also had ADHD. And so he was in class, and he had his headset on, his earpieces on, looking down at his cell phone. And so I'd kind of try to call his attention. And um, then I noticed that when he would write, he'd write in these very huge block letters. And like it would take, an entire page, as huge letters, NEXT, and it was like maybe 3 words on a page, and always in pencil. And he held his pen, I think, pencil strangely too, and he was looking down at his paper almost like out of the side of his head. And he, but he was social and he talked, he just didn't look you in the eye. And then on like about the second or third day, he he would always come to class early, and I always was there an hour early so I could set up the classroom and get things ready, and because I write everything that we're going to do on the board and that kind of thing, and when everything is due, and just for the students. And he came to me and he was very upset. I can't do this. It's too hard. And I said, well, maybe you could tell your dad that you can't, that you can't do it. And he said, oh no, I can't do that. Um, he'll get really mad. And he's not really my dad. He's my foster dad. Oh, okay. I didn't know. And I said, well, we'll make this work. And he was crying and crying and crying. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. Why don't you do this? Take a break today and go get a little mocha or something and treat yourself to a treat and enjoy the beautiful weather. It's sunny out. Look at how beautiful it is right now. And it was the same thing then. Birds, pay attention to the little birdies. Enjoy yourself. Take a break. And next time you come back, I will keep an eye out on you. We will make this happen. Don't have any worries at all. I'm here for you. And so when he came back, I was watching out for him. He was got his earpieces on, looking down at his phone while I'm lecturing. But when something important, I'd say, Marcus, Marcus. And a couple of times I had to walk up to him, Marcus. He's like, whoa. And so uh, we got him through it, and then I got the idea, instead of writing your homework, talk to text and then print it out and turn it in. Don't worry about it. And then we went to the library, because I always help students with their essays at the library. And he was having trouble, and I noticed that he only had like one line written and then he was online doing whatever else. I said, "Oh, do you have something written?" And he said, "Well, this is all I have. I don't know what to do." I said, "Well, think about your metaphor," because they had to write and interpret any metaphor they want, from a movie, a novel, a video game, anything they want, a song, a painting. And so I think he chose a video game. I said, just brainstorm whatever you think about that video game. And what do you think of it? Just say any old thing into the talk to text. And then I'll come back. So when I came back, I had other students, and it's very tiring to work with individual students. It's easier to lecture, but it's extremely tiring to help this one and then this one and focus on their work. And so I came back, and he had a paragraph. And I said, "Oh, that's so cool. You have a paragraph. Wow, that's great." I said, "Now read your paragraph, and as you go, what can you add to what you just said? What are some other ideas? Go back in and do that." So I said, "I'll come back." And then he came to me and he said, "I'm getting tired." I said, "No problem. But during the day, before the essays due, write a little bit." And he knew he had one day extra more than the other students because he's ADHD and autistic, and the accommodation. So he did, and he wrote an entire essay. He got a tutor to help him, and I think he got a B on the essay. So he made it happen. And I think talk to text really helps. And I'm not sure what it is about being autistic or whatever, but it's tiring for them. Now we have Sal over at Pierce College, and he is also a darling person, and he came to campus, a very tall young man, and he was very sociable and likable, as was Marcus. And he sat in the very front seat. And when he did group work, he got along very well with other students. Usually I sat him by some young ladies, and they were very sweet towards him, and he them. And I found that when they were doing research um, and working in groups, I talked to Sal, and he said that it's very difficult for him to be around people too much. And I said, you're welcome to walk out of the classroom. A lot of other students do that too, and it's okay. You're fine with that. And he never did do it, but I guess because I lecture and do other things, and they don't have a lot of group work. And I tell the entire class that it's okay if you need to take a break and walk out, because some students are claustrophobic or they have anxiety. So it's very common for me to tell the whole class that. And I noticed that Sal had this same large pencil writing, block letters, and only like 3 words on a page, the same as Marcus did at the other campus. I thought that was interesting. Same spacing, everything. And then I told him, maybe you could try to get I like gel pens. You barely touch the paper. And I noticed that he also was looking sideways when he would write on paper. So there must be some kind of issue with the brain or something. And so I said, "Hey, why don't you talk to text?" Because he said he had trouble writing. And he said, "Oh, wow, yeah, I could do that." And so he talked into his cell phone his homework, and then he printed it out and turned it in, and he got good grades on that. And I told him, you could go to Staples, and they give you, there are all these pens where you can scribble and find out what kind of pen you like, what size of pen you want to use. And he said, "Oh, that's a great idea." And so he used both of those, talk to text, and he got very excited about it. And so I told him, don't forget, you have to quote sources and make a works cited page section. And so, I helped him in the library on that. And then he told me that at night he's cold when he's trying to sleep, and he puts on all these extra blankets. And I said, maybe you could get a heater for your room, because it's extremely important to get enough sleep. I have always gotten enough sleep my whole entire life. And so I think it's really important to gently help students, to push them forward. At Mount SAC, they evaluated my teaching and came back to me and said, Marcielle, I noticed that the only thing I could critique about your negatively is that when a student made a mistake, you ask a question and the student said something incorrectly, that I twisted myself into pretzels trying to find a way to say, oh, well, that's an interesting comment, and not calling the student, saying the student is wrong in front of the other students. And they said, you need to call the student on his error. And I decided, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and never embarrass a student in front of the other students. Maybe call the students outside, in a private conversation, but never ever embarrass a student in front of the others, because they've told me as a class, I say, how many of you have been embarrassed by a teacher or humiliated? Many of them raise their hands. I don't ever want to do that. So I will find a way to make what their comment is okay, and then privately say, well, there was a little bit of problem, or find a way to correct them, but not ever, ever, ever embarrass a student. And I tell students, when you're doing your work, take a break, come back to your work when you're fresh, either the next day or whatever, and work a little bit, little by little, and never wait till the last minute to cram. That's the worst thing you can do. And I always tell them, you have an important voice in our community, and you are valuable. And so don't allow yourself to get too frustrated. Work a little bit, take a break, come back, work a little bit more. And I do that for myself. And I just did it with this filming, because I was getting overwhelmed, I was getting hungry and dizzy, so I turned off the film to come back to it later and add more information. That's how you succeed, little by little. So I'm sending you my love and blessings, and to parents of autistic students or students with ADHD or challenges, and I know you can do it little by little. Thank you. It's Professor Brandler, and you can read the notes inside the uh, this film. Okay, take care. Bye bye.